Back on the ground after a flight they'll never forget. Passengers and crew arrived safely in Egypt after their plane was hijacked. Authorities say a man using a fake suicide belt forced the EgyptAir jet en route from Alexandria to Cairo to land in Larnaca in Cyprus. He was later arrested after giving himself up. Thank God we're fine and all the passengers are fine, he says. The man was arrested and it's all over. Thank God. The exact motive is unclear. One official said the hijacker appeared unstable. A Cypriot state broadcaster said he demanded the release of women prisoners in Egypt. And witnesses claim the man, apparently seen in surveillance footage going through airport security, threw a letter on the tarmac at Larnaca Airport, asking for it to be delivered to his Cypriot ex-wife. Egypt's aviation industry was already reeling from the crash of a Russian passenger jet in the Sinai Peninsula last October. Barely recognisable. These new images taken a day after the terror attacks at Brussels airport. Bosses now say it will take months to get the busy transport hub back to full speed. It was hoped that some services could resume today, but the airport will remain closed. Staff have been back at work testing out temporary check-in arrangements set up in marquees to bypass the badly damaged area of the terminal building.
Wel, het gaat om heel praktische zaken natuurlijk.
Practical matters, what goes where, which facilities we can use. They were the questions during the first few days, she says. Now we think about the people. Are they ready to work? How will employees react to this situation? Because for many, it will be the first time they're returning. For affected passengers, regional airports in Antwerp and Liège are only offering limited capacity as an alternative. Brussels Airlines is running up €5 million in daily costs. Lufthansa has cancelled all flights to Brussels until Sunday. The number of people killed at the airport and here at Malbec metro station has been revised down to 32, excluding the suicide bombers. That's after the double counting of 3 people with dual nationality. Meanwhile, police are still hunting a third man seen on airport CCTV on the day of the bombings, after a suspect was freed. There's been beefed-up security at the Stade de France in Paris for the first international football match since the November terror attacks in the French capital. All fans going to the friendly between France and Russia were searched twice, and vehicles were also checked. Events can happen in markets, in any stadium. Don't be scared, says this France supporter. It can happen anywhere, and we don't have to pander to those who commit these tragic acts. Around 1,200 security workers and hundreds of police and gendarmerie officers were involved in Tuesday's operation. Fans seemed reassured. Everything's in place concerning security, she says. When you arrive in the car park, your body is searched and the car is checked on the inside. The crowd also observed a minute of silence before the match in memory of those killed in last week's Brussels bombings. France will host the Euro 2016 soccer tournament this summer, with games being played in 10 stadiums.
Donald Trump's campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, has been charged with battery over the alleged assault of a female journalist earlier this month. Lewandowski, here behind Trump, has been accused of intentionally grabbing and bruising the arm of reporter Michelle Fields in the light jacket as she tried to question the U.S. Republican presidential frontrunner at an event in Florida. Trump's campaign rallies have been marked by rowdiness and occasional clashes between protesters and supporters or security personnel, but the billionaire businessman has vigorously defended his campaign manager. Lewandowski, who turned himself into police, vehemently denies any wrongdoing and looks forward to his day in court fully confident that he'll be exonerated, according to the Trump campaign.
Could this be the death knell for Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff's term in office? The country's largest political party, the Democratic Party, or BMDB, has announced that it's leaving her governing coalition. The BMDB holds 7 ministerial posts and the vice presidency and has 69 members in the 513-member Chamber of Deputies, the lower house of Parliament. Rousseff is fighting moves to impeach her over allegations that she manipulated Brazil's accounts and has links to various corruption scandals. But former President Lula da Silva has leapt to her defense. Allow this woman to have the tranquility to govern the country. Allow her to have time to think in this country and let her be judged when her term is over. Rousseff was da Silva's hand-picked successor. The departure of the BMDP sharply increases the odds of proceedings to impeach her going forward. Rousseff insists there is no legal basis for impeachment.
A new era of democratic government has finally begun in Myanmar. Tin Chaw has been sworn in as president of the country after decades of military rule. He took the oath of office in a joint session of Myanmar's newly elected parliament on Wednesday. His 2 vice presidents also took the oath. The ceremony ushers the long-time opposition party of democracy campaigner Aung San Suu Kyi into government after 54 years of direct or indirect military rule. Suu Kyi's party, the National League for Democracy, won a landslide victory in last November's election. The Nobel Peace Prize laureate is ineligible to be president herself, but says she will run the government from behind the scenes. Myanmar's former President Thein Sein took part in the historic handover. Hours before leaving office, he lifted a state of emergency in the restive western state of Rakhine, imposed after clashes between Buddhists and minority Rohingya Muslims in 2012.
7 Somali men have gone before a court in Paris accused of hijacking a French yacht in the Arabian Sea 4 years ago. The owner was killed and his wife abducted. She was later rescued by Spanish naval forces. The trial is set to last 2 weeks, and if found guilty, the men face life sentences. Former Canadian Cabinet Minister Jean Lapierre has been killed in a plane crash along with his wife, 2 brothers and a sister. They were travelling to the funeral of Lapierre's father. 7 people died in all when the plane crashed in bad weather on an island off Quebec's east coast. There's no doubt it's a room with a view, but how would you like to be surrounded by sharks as you sleep? A special underwater bedroom sitting in 3 million litres of water has been created at a Paris aquarium. A few lucky contestant winners will get the chance to stay before it becomes a research facility.